Now, delighted to be joined on the RTÉ Rugby podcast by Iain Henderson. We're here speaking at the launch of Canterbury's new Ireland rugby jersey for the World Cup that will be worn in France later this year. The campaign We Go Together encourages fans to come together in support of Ireland at the World Cup. You can buy the jersey at Canterbury.com or on Intersports Elverys. Iain, thanks a million for joining us. Looking nice in your new threads. Is this the point of like a World Cup campaign where the new stash, the new gear starts coming in and you start getting a bit excited?
Believe it or not, this is close to our first glimpse at the jersey as well. So look, I think it's brilliant. A few of the lads have had it on throughout the week, and it's been great to see it coming through. We'll be waiting for. We obviously got our stash there a couple of weeks ago, and I think there'll be a new block of stash coming through, also being released to the fans a wee bit down the line.
How many boxes and closets full of old gear do you have back at home? Tracksuits and t-shirts and old jerseys. Do you get rid of them? Do you do an old clear out of it?
I used to, being most of my stuff's 2XL or 3XL, so
Yeah.
a fair few of my friends, it doesn't fit anyone. So the guys who I'm close to, I've got two brothers who'd be a similar size and a handful of other friends, and they're sick of seeing rugby gear. So usually when I bring it back to them, they're like, I don't want it anymore. I can't get my brother's missus forever giving out about the amount of stuff lying around their house. But no, there's stacks of it in the house, and my wife's forever getting me to dish it out whenever I can.
So if there's any innovative people listening to this podcast now, anyone above 6'5", 6'6" that wants to drop you an old message on Instagram, exactly, just to hit you up and chance their arm.
100%.
They'll be in luck.
My missus will pick it up on Instagram.
Well, listen, we're into the second block now of your World Cup camp. What's the difference now in these couple of weeks compared to what you were doing in the first couple of weeks? We were chatting to Hugo Keenan last week, and he was talking about how a lot of it was kind of conditioning, game-specific conditioning and things like that. Do you kind of move on as such with the preparation in this block? Yeah,
obviously the first 2-week block was first week was making sure everyone was in, got back safe. Weren't going to be any rogue injuries flying in there with doing anything stupid in the first week. So eased into it, maybe not the right term, but definitely cautious coming in that first week. Second week, we got really into the rugby end of the conditioning stuff. A couple of really tough sessions. Forwards got into a good bit of the scrum and maul, while the backs were doing something else, some kicking or something. Don't really know what they were doing. This week as well will be more similar to the second week from the last block. Tuesday today, and had a real tough session out there. Good long rugby specific session for 15 on 15 scrum maul for the forwards as well. So kind of definitely being put through our paces. And then obviously you've got the sort of conditioning and gym side of things around that as well to be fitted in throughout the day.
And is this going to be same as the previous, where 2 weeks on, a week off? So like we're into the middle at this stage of week one of this block. Is it next week and then you're off for a little bit of time?
Yeah, well, the week off is a week training on your own. It's not a week off, so we'll be away with
let's make that clear.
We'll be exactly week off is not exactly what it was. You're right. We go back and split into probably smaller groups with our own GPS units and our own gym sessions that we've been given. Most of the guys get away somewhere in small groups, and we'll do that training together. It's always easier to put yourself through the paces when someone's with you. So the guys, as I said, break up into small groups, whoever's nearby, and get through the block of work that's been handed out.
Congratulations, by the way, on your new contract. It was announced, I can't remember, a few weeks ago at this stage. Yeah. Now, I presume you're pleased to get it done and dusted. It seemed like one that was taking a while to get over the line.
Yeah, look, it was kind of towards the start, kind of it rolled on over Christmas time, and then during the Six Nations, we kind of wanted to put it to the back burner because of obviously the campaign. Didn't want any distractions in there. Didn't want to be going through it in the middle of that. And then obviously I broke my arm at the end of the campaign. So after I broke my arm, it was kind of on the back burner a wee bit, because I wasn't going to play any more rugby. Nothing else was going to change. And then after that, it was just formalities. It was kind of in the pipeline from there, and look, obviously delighted to get it across the line. Looking forward to having 2 more years playing Kingspan, 2 more years, hopefully having opportunities to pull on the green jersey, and look, yeah, obviously delighted to be here until 2025.
Was there any ever doubt or any offers that you were mulling over outside of it? Because your name had been linked with a couple of different things.
Yeah, I think almost everything my name had been linked with was incorrect. I think I'm saying that genuinely. I had offers from other places. I had kind of a bit of interest. Did it get down the line that far with anything? No, not really that down the line. But like, I would say when 95% of international players come for contract, everyone has a bit of interest elsewhere. So look, I've signed on, and that's probably speaks volumes for itself there.
I imagine you kind of hinted at it coming in off the injury. I imagine you were fit to burst coming in the doors here a few weeks back after the way the season ended for you with the broken arm.
Yeah, look, it was frustrating. Obviously, it was that itself was painful enough mentally, but then potentially there was the chance that I was going to get back for the end of the season, and obviously we lost a very well performing Connacht side up at Ravenhill, and that was frustrating. There was a chance I was going to get back to the end of the season or for a few games towards the end if we had have continued going, and my rehab had continued going well. But look, it got cut short, and that's the way it is. I guess the way the dice fell, and after that had happened, we had a bit of a regrouping session as players, and got round each other and trained hard for another good few weeks in Ulster, and then a few of the guys were getting married, so they had summers to enjoy. There's bigger things to worry about in general life than sitting around moping about. But the guys have been back in at Ulster working hard. They've definitely going through a decent block at the minute, and I know that the guys that were involved throughout last season will be using what happened towards the end of the season as motivation going forward.
I imagine it's a difficult mental challenge. Like I remember speaking to you at the URC launch last season, and you were coming back off the hand and thumb injury during the Six Nations. I spoke to you again, and unfortunately the team was around coming back from injuries, and here we are again during that kind of difficult couple of seasons. Have you done a lot of work on actually just the mental side of dealing with the day-to-day frustrations?
Yeah, like it starts out worse and it gets easier after you get injured. That might sound obvious, but the moment it happens, it's probably the darkest for me. After that, as soon as I leave the stadium or wherever I've been injured and get home, that's probably after that, the worst is done for me. Get home, usually see the kids say I have no idea about rugby. They don't even understand when I get injured. Freddie, my son, asked me if I wanted a plaster for my arm.
That'll do the trick.
I was sitting fractured, and he was looking to give me a plaster. There obviously is a huge mental aspect of it that you probably learn through time. The frustrations that it brings, the kind of the missed opportunities that it brings, the kind of the frustrations come from both sides of things, wanting to be involved while your teammates are going, wanting to be involved while your teammates are going well is obviously really tough, but also kind of feeling that you would have wanted to be out there to try and help them is tough as well. So it is a bit of a mixture of emotions, and I don't think anyone's experience going through injury is really the same as anyone else's. It's all very personal. But like I said, as soon as I get home and get back to my family, that probably sorts me out rightly. And
finally then, this is your third World Cup training camp, 2015, 2019, and now into now. What do you think you've learned over those various camps that anything in particular you're kind of using this time round that maybe 2015, 2019, I didn't do this or I did too much of this?
Well, I've just mentioned in there to a handful of other guys. I think this World Cup pre-season, this World Cup camp there's been prior to it starting, there was a fair bit of input by players, and Faz had asked for that, and he had asked players just to what we wanted to fix in the last one, what we've thought before has worked well. So it was a bit of a collaboration throughout all the staff to come up with this program, and it's been exciting to be a part of. What's been different from last World Cup? I feel like we're concentrating a lot more on rugby. At the end of the day, we're all rugby players. We want to be good at rugby, and yes, you need to be in good physical condition for that. But at the bottom line is, if you can't play rugby, you can't play rugby well, you're not going to win a World Cup, and that's something that we wanted to take away from previous World Cups in terms of the camp, to ensure it was a lot more rugby orientated, and that was definitely taken on board, and the emphasis on is definitely very much on rugby rather than conditioning, albeit we're still doing a fair bit of conditioning within the rugby, but like it's been great to be a part of, and it definitely feels more progressive than previous World Cups.
Well, Iain, thanks a million for joining us. We look forward to seeing you back out in the pitch in the warm-up games in a few weeks' time. Thanks for speaking to us on the RTÉ Rugby podcast.
Thank you very much. Cheers.